Before I start this video, I would like to give you guys a couple of announcements. One, we will be having a little reading planner forum for you guys to come talk to me. We'll be live on this channel and this date, and we'll just be talking about the planner. So come tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, maybe some things you'd probably like to see. We are kind of in our final stages here, so I just want to hear some feedback. So if you're interested in giving feedback, you can leave a comment down below, or you can come hang out with me. I'll probably draw or something while we talk so we can have something visually to look at. But yeah, just, you know, you guys have always been super supportive of me and this planner. Really wouldn't be doing this thing without Booktube and Booktubers and all of you guys. So come check us out. Also, we will be starting a Kickstarter on May 20th. I will leave information to that down below. It is for the Melanin Eclectic Ita bag. So this is a bag where you'll be able to display your enamel pins as well as carry your stuff, and it is just a quick, simple crossbody bag. So if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these, we have some other colors and some other gifts. I would really appreciate your support over on Kickstarter. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on with the video. Hi guys, like, welcome you guys all back to my channel. I know I have been gone for a couple of months. Just a lot of different things transitioning in my life, and I just did not feel like recording. And so I didn't force myself to record. So I'm back today to kind of talk about all of the books that I've read since the last reading update, which I think was in February, but like, don't worry, it wasn't a lot of books. My reading has picked up as of lately, but like, there still wasn't a whole lot of books. So yeah, oh, that's another thing. If you haven't checked it out, the video that I posted last week, or the previous video before this, is me catching up in my reading planner because April was so chaotic that like all of my planners suffered, life suffered, everything. So we are back planning April and setting up for May. So that should be in the cards and in the description box down below. So let's talk about what I've been reading. So I think in the month of March, I only read one book. It just was not a good reading month. But it was Goliath by Tochi Onyebuchi. This was the first quarter pick for Black Prose Club. Ironically picked by Oshale, not me. And if I'm being very honest with you, this is the first Tochi book that I found it to be very difficult to finish. I'll leave a link to the live show that we did about this book down below if you guys want to check it out. But like I said in that video, it was actually like very depressing and disheartening to read this book because it kind of just made me feel helpless. And so in a weird way, it's like I can't necessarily say this was a terrible book to read. It's just that it evoked a lot of emotion from me. I don't see this as a book that I'm going to pick up to read over and over again. I'm not even quite sure if it will stay on my shelf forever, but this will definitely go into my Tochi section on my shelf for now until I decide. But I do think that because I've already read it once, that maybe somewhere down the line in the future, I may be able to read it again and see what kind of emotions come from it then, since I've already read it once. This is also a book that I do not recommend the audiobook for. I tried the audiobook for this one, and it was so blessed confusing. I don't know how to explain it, but to me, it was just easier to read it. It was better visually to read it. So yeah, Goliath. In the month of April, we did a little bit more reading. So I obviously participated in the Black Prose Club Throwback-a-thon. So I did a reread of Amari and the Night Brothers. Gave me just as much happy feelings as the first time reading it. Read it just as fast. Again, this is a really great read to me. Cannot wait for the second book. I'm just ready. It's already pre-ordered. We're ready to go. Like, can't wait till the sequel of this book comes out. Again, if you haven't read this book and you have been listening to me ever talk about books, I don't know how you haven't read it, because I love it. The next book that I read is Maya and the Return of the Godlings by Rena Barron. This is the second book in her middle grade series that started with Maya and the Rising Dark. And I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I need the third book. Does that make sense? Like, I felt like the second book was literally a bridge between the first. I have a feeling it's going to be a bridge between the first and the third, but in a way where I felt like the story in the second one wasn't as great to me. However, the way that the story ended in the second book, I most definitely need the third book now. I think that's like the best way to put it. If you don't know, Maya and the Rising Dark is about a young girl whose father is taken into the darkness. And she learns that she and her daddy have some special connections. And I don't want to tell you that because I don't want it to be spoiled. But I do think this is something you guys should check out if you're interested. I very much enjoyed this book a lot. So I'm ready for the third book for this one. Again, the middle grade has really been coming through. And that's another thing. The challenge for Throwback-a-thon this year, like the bonus challenge, was to read only middle grade books. So I actually did read a lot of middle grade books that made me very happy. The next book that I read was Witchlings by Clarabelle A. Ortega. This was such, like, so the story is about a girl and her friends, and the girl, her family, her whole family, the ghost of her family are dragonflies. And there is some type of haunting going on in her town. I'm like, this is one of those books where it's like, I wonder if I was younger, would I consider it spooky? But to me, it's like, this is such a cute adventure. So yeah, I'm going to be reading the I think this is another book that's a series, another middle grade series. I will be continuing with this middle grade series as well. I thought it was done really well. It was a very heavy focus on family and just being the weirdo. So I liked it, obviously. I do recommend this book. It was fun. The next book was Nzinga, Queen of... I forgot the name. I'm sorry. My book is upstairs and I'm being too lazy, so I'll just include a picture right here. This is from the Royal Diary series. If you guys have, like, most people who've watched my channel know that, like, that's one of my favorite childhood series of all time. And reading this book just kind of reminded me, one, they really made her book way shorter than everybody else's. Two, we need some more stuff about her. Like, I don't feel like we talk about her enough. But this was also clearly a reread. It's actually made me want to go back and read some other books, but I have some major books that I need to get through, so I will not be doing any more rereads after this readathon. So the next book that I read is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I'm just going to say this. One, I enjoyed the story a lot. I think that it was very beautifully written. Serapio and my homie, what is her name? Shiala, loved it. However, I don't know if it deserved... Like, the way that it blew up was very clearly good marketing, but I'm glad that I waited until the hype around the book died a little before I read it, because I think that my expectations would have been ridiculous and unrealistic, because I thought this was a really good book. In fact, I'm already reading the second one. I was reading Blood Trials. In fact, I'm technically still reading Blood Trials. But when I finished this book, I just couldn't leave it. I know that by reading the second book as it just came out last month, I know that that means I'm going to have to wait well over a year to get the third book. I know that is what's happening already. I've accepted my fate. I love it. I think that I don't know the exact lore that this came from, but I am super invested in this battle between the crow god and the sun. If you've not read the books, I'm sure you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you've read the books, then knowing how much I love war, violence, and fighting, you know that my brain was like totally loving a particular scene. But also, because I'm already, like I said, I'm already reading the second one, I realize how fleshed out some of the characters were and how not fleshed out some of the other characters were. So now I'm sitting here like, maybe I'll be doing like a whole analysis about this later, because as I started the second book, there are some characters where I'm like, okay. And then other ones I'm like, I don't really know if I believe their feelings here. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain my feelings like appropriately. But like, I will say, like, I'm glad that I stopped reading books, or I'm glad that I stopped paying attention to book social media to determine when I read books or when I don't read books, because whether the book is hype or not, most people aren't going to watch my channel anyway. And now that I've gone back to just reading whatever I felt like, as you can see, I don't even make TBRs anymore, because I just read what I feel like reading in the moment. And I feel like my reading time has just become so much more enjoyable to me. I like coming here and telling you guys what I read when I read it, but I also love not having a set of books that I must read. It's really just been my mood, and that's why Rebecca Roanhorse, she's pushing her. Yeah, she's pushing her way up into my auto buy realm. Y'all know I only have so far 3 of those, but Rebecca is pushing. I have her other series on my shelf and I have not finished it, but after reading Black Sun, I want to dive more into Rebecca's writing. Like I said, I'm a huge fantasy person, but it's something about, there is a huge cultural aspect to this fantasy that just makes it so much more enriching and so much more enjoyable. So yeah, if you didn't know, I enjoyed this book. But not for the reasons that were hyped up. I don't know. I like the romance part didn't really do much for me. So I don't know. If you enjoyed this book, tell me why you enjoyed it so I can see where my mindset is and where your mindset is. So the last book that I read, since I haven't talked to y'all, is Wings of Shadow by Nikki Palpreto. This is the 3rd book in the Crown of Feathers series. And I personally really like the series. What originally drew me to this series was the fact that they were Phoenix writers, and just the idea of being able to write a phoenix or a dragon or a crow or some type of winged beast sounds amazing. But what kept me reading this book was the antagonist, Val. So the story is focused on 2 sisters, Veronica and Val. Veronica is obviously the protagonist, Val is the antagonist. And not trying to spoil the story, but they descended from Phoenix riders, and so they spent a lot of their time looking for Phoenix eggs because they learned that there are secret Phoenix eggs around, and they want to hatch one because they want to become Phoenix riders like the stories of old. But this particular situation actually causes a rift between Veronica and Val, which puts them on opposing sides. And those opposing sides finally came to a head in this 3rd book. And I will say 3 things. 1, I love anime magic. I just feel like it's not appreciated enough. 2, still very much love the sister. I love Val. I love a good villain. I love a good flushed out villain. And because as the story progresses, I get the story from Veronica and Val's perspective. I'm giving insight to Val as a person, the way that Val thinks. And yes, I feel like Veronica did do some growth, but Val just got worse, and I loved it. I'm all, like I said, give me a good villain that is like convinced in their convictions that they're right, and it's like, burn it all to the ground. I'll watch it burn. I'll set the match myself. It's great. I don't know. Personally, that is a fave of mine. I don't know. I don't know what that says about me. Anyways, so those were the books that I read since the last time I talked to you guys. Currently, I am reading, like I said, Fevered Star and Blood Trials. I've already finished a book for the month of May already. With that being said, thank you guys so much for checking out my channel. I just also wanted to make an announcement, and I'll probably have to make this announcement in the beginning of my next video. But we will be doing a kind of forum for the reading planner here on this channel. So if you guys want to come talk about the Melanin Eclectic reading planner, I want critiques, I want suggestions, those kind of things, because we are in the final editing stage of next year's planner. So I just wanted to get feedback from all of you guys, because you guys have been so super supportive of me. And also we have a Kickstarter coming up, and so I'll be leaving links to all of those things as they come up, and I'll be talking about them all month long. So until the next time, guys, bye.